Live from JMT Studios, Gary Seisel and Adam Buckingham are the Two Jersey Kids.
Hey guys, Two Jersey Kids here. I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside my good friend, Gary Seisel. We weren't expecting to do it this week, or at least this early in the week, because you were a little busy, Gary, but we're doing it a day early, so sorry if we missed some news.
I'm pretty eager to get started. I was a little worried there for a little bit that I wasn't going to be able to get on here this week, and it was kind of disappointing me. But a lot of important things to talk about as we see in front of us.
But the show must go on, so we decided to record it a little bit early. So don't hate us if we miss something that comes out on Thursday, because, you know, that always happens with everything that happens in life. It just happens right after. But if you're a new listener, I'm about to go through the spiel. This is Two Jersey Kids. We talk about the games coming out. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I messed up the spiel already, Gary. I messed up the spiel. Let's start again, folks. Let's start again. Why are my levels so high? I need to turn down the... It's like freaking out. I'm speaking too loud. I guess I'm excited for this. But let's get into it. So, if you need to know, this is Two Jersey Kids. We release 2 episodes a week. Our Tuesday episode is me and Gary going over the games that are releasing that week and giving the synopsis, and then giving our quote-unquote genius picks of the week of what games you should buy. But don't hate us if you don't like those games if you buy them. Then we release an episode on Friday that's in your ears right now. I know, it blows your mind. Where we go over the news that has been going on in the video game industry and give our opinions on it. Why do you want our opinions? I don't know. Maybe we're just because we're funny. I don't know. Maybe that's not true at all. I don't know. But thank you all for being here and listening. Remember to follow us at Two Jersey Kids and keep sharing this podcast. Rate us on iTunes. It'd be great. And I think I'm going to roll into the show now. Gary, what have you been up to?
I actually completed the Dawnguard DLC for Skyrim, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Dawnguard DLC deals with vampires, in case anyone doesn't know already. Impressed, to say the least. I'm actually getting into the main quest now to play the Dragonborn DLC again.
Nice.
I only completed it one time. That was like 3 years ago, so it's kind of going to be like going through it again, to be honest.
Quick question.
So,
question. How does the story of the DLC stack up to the original game? Because I don't think I've ever played the DLC of the original Skyrim.
I mean, it depends on what story. Are you talking about the Greybeard story, or are you talking about the Civil War?
You mean the 2 stories that happened, like the main stories in Skyrim?
Yeah.
With the Civil War. I guess compared to both?
Well, okay, so the Civil War, in my opinion, sucked. So I mean, Dawnguard beats that out pretty easily. And then the Greybeards, I mean, it has, again, been a while since I played through that specific storyline, but I was never really impressed, I don't think, with either of the main stories in Skyrim. I thought they were kind of bland. Mm-hmm. So I would say that the DLCs, both of them, were better than the stories that were featured in the game. So, and especially the factions, obviously. I already said before, I thought the factions were pretty bland.
Can you give a rundown of what the story is for each one, roughly?
So for Dawnguard and Dragon? Okay, well, Dawnguard focuses on... what's his name? Lord Harkin, the Vampire Lord. And basically he's trying to block out the sun to bring about
Classic.
bring about the age of vampires, let's put it that way. So vampires will be able to rule the world. So your goal is to stop him from doing that.
You don't want a massive amount of twilight throughout the world. You don't want that. Never want that.
And then the Dragonborn DLC, now I haven't, again, played that in a few years, but as far as I know, this guy comes along, I can't remember what the hell their name is, his exact name is, but basically you're a Dragonborn, okay? So that's who you are, that's your main character.
No way!
But this guy comes along who basically, this villain comes along who's claiming you're an imposter, and he's like the true Dragonborn, I think, something like that.
Sounds fascinating.
But anyway, you have to defeat him.
Actually, that sounds familiar. I heard that fight was actually really difficult.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's also, I remember, playing through that final mission of that DLC, it was so like it was almost mind melting. I remember I was just getting so confused because it was kind of like almost like a maze to get to the final stage of that fight. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know, but
Aren't
it
we
was
all?
confusing. But yeah, that's the poor man's description of Dragonborn DLC.
Hey, thanks for the synopsis, because I actually never played them. For some reason, DLC, like, it always sounds good to me, but once I get past the game, I always have a hard time coming back to it. Even though Skyrim, it's easier. I don't know why. It's just something that sets in my brain hole. That's
Indeed. So what have you been up to?
Oh yes, this week. That's great. I finished the campaign of Titanfall 2, which was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think it's like critically a great story. I think it's very straightforward that's going on. I feel like it does a good job with the pacing of the single player. It makes the world feels large because you're not going from firefight to firefight to firefight. There's a lot of parkouring and walking throughout, so the world that you're doing is large. It's really cool going throughout. You end up taking the enemy's radio, like the first main Titan that you fight, like the mercenary Titan you fight, you take his radio, and now differing mercenaries in this squad pop up and they're talking, so you kind of get a glimpse into what they are, and then like at the end of each level, you fight them in like a kind of like a Mega Man style, I guess, battle. You're fighting like a different type of Titan on each one. A lot of scenes are very cinematic. I thought it was really good. I thought voice acting well. It was very straightforward storyline. Nothing like to write crazy home about, but you can beat the storyline pretty quickly on normal. There's some little it's a little bit of a pain. Some portions of it can be a little frustrating. But I've also been playing online in Titanfall 2, which is awesome. But I don't know how you would feel about it, Gary. I don't know. How do you feel about like the fast-paced arcade style? Because I know you didn't like Call of Duty Advanced War for like the quick movements, I believe.
Well,
and Titanfall is a lot of parkour to it, and it feels really good, and it feels like forgiving with like jumping from wall to wall and then being able to grab and climb ledges rather easily.
It depends on the game. Like with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I play Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty because it was a Modern Warfare representation. Mm-hmm. And when it started to shift into like this crazy exosuit thing, I fell off the wagon there. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like playing that type of game. But I like fast-paced games. I like fast-paced shooters. I mean, I play Destiny, and that's definitely different. It's like you have to you have your abilities, you have your special abilities. You can jump around. You can you have like triple jumps, you have double jumps, you have guys that can shoulder charge real fast, and I like that type of game. So I probably could get into Titanfall, but
I don't know how you would feel about, because I like the idea behind it in multiplayer, the Titans and the pilot aspect. But however, every time I get into a Titan, it just feels a lot slower, and it kind of changes the gameplay feel compared to when you're a pilot and you're running around like flying all over the map. That's why I've been starting to become more of a fan of just pilot versus pilot, because that feels like awesome, because you're just running around quickly throughout the map trying to take out people. But I've been enjoying the multiplayer. I plan on keep playing it, especially because I don't know what else is coming out. I may get the NES Classic, which we'll talk about soon. But any other big AAA games, I don't think... I can't really think of any ones that I'm going to be playing for the rest of the year. So Titanfall 2 is probably going to be I'm playing a good amount online. And, there's Watch Dogs 2, which I may wait on to see how that performs. But other than that, that's been really my week in a nutshell. I need to get back to... Since I finished the campaign of Titanfall 2, I'm going to get back to Child of Light soon. So... to play that campaign. But should I move on into the topics, Gary?
I think so. I think we've done it basically 2 topics with our introduction.
Yeah, sometimes we can talk a lot. Sorry, folks. But let's get started. So, if you didn't know, Gary, did you see Mass Effect trailer came out? Mass Effect Andromeda trailer. It was pretty sweet. Got to see a lot of mechs going on, but Jason Schreier of Kotaku writes in an article that BioWare says that the footage is all running in real time and the game is scheduled for, quote, spring 2017, end quote, on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There still isn't much concrete info on how Andromeda differs from its predecessors other than the whole, quote, no more Shepard, quote, thing. But Game Informer magazine has the new game on their cover. A few other tiny tidbits of Andromeda info also leaked out today thanks to retail listings that sure make it sound like a Mass Effect game. Build a formidable hero with amazing weapons, powers, and tech, end quote. Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 also went live on Xbox One backwards compatibility program, Microsoft announced. Just FYI. How you feel about? Did you watch the trailer, Gary?
Well, yes, and interestingly enough, I actually pulled up an article before we got on here. It's actually GameInformer.com, and it shows a couple pictures of the new Mass Effect game. Mm-hmm. One of them is, it looks like whoever your main character is shooting fire out of his hands. It kind of, strangely enough, it kind of reminds me of Skyrim because I've just been playing that. But very
probably
interesting.
One of the biotech weapons.
Yeah,
but could be wrong.
And evidently, with regards to Andromeda, your character Ryder is no longer going to be locked into a single progression tree, as they say here in this article.
Cool.
So it looks like they're getting rid of the traditional class system.
That's awesome. I'm pretty certain. I'm excited for Mass Effect. I feel like it's going to come out because there was a retail listing a while back, or in a comic book for Mass Effect. Releasing around March 21st, I believe. So I have a feeling that it's going to come out around then. Because why would they put that in there? But it seems starting to get a little close, and they haven't released the release date yet. So maybe they just aren't ready, and they'll push it back. However, I'm excited for the game. I think the whole premise is that these pilots were going to this galaxy. And then the mass relays exploded due to the whole Reapers. Is it Reapers or Reavers? I don't remember.
Reapers.
Reapers?
Yes, sir.
That whole thing and Mass Effect relays exploded, and now they're stuck there. So, I'm excited. Another Mass Effect game. All three of them were great. I'm pumped for this one.
I'm really excited. What's
Sorry.
that? No, I was going to say I'm really excited. No, I mean, I'm really excited for... Oh, God.
Sorry.
I was going to say I'm really excited for the new games because it's been a while since I've had like a new RPG experience to play through, and obviously Mass Effect was always on point. But I mean, I feel like we also need to know more about what the game's going to actually deliver, and I'm looking forward to hearing that because like you were saying, they haven't really talked too much about it, so it should be interesting to see going forward.
Moving on. So there was a thing called BlizzCon that happened, and a lot of things got announced, and I'm going to try to go through all of them rather quickly, because, I mean, we had a long tangent earlier on, so let's move on. And I don't know if Gary has much to say on these topics, so I'm just going to go... So, one thing that was announced, Blizzard long last confirmed the hacker-centric Overwatch character Sombra. During BlizzCon's opening ceremony, the company began to roll a video recapping the launch of Overwatch. The video seemingly began to have technical issues, only for it to serve as an introduction to Sombra in a short film featuring Widowmaker and Reaper infiltrating some kind of top secret. You can watch it in the article. So, if you're curious about what the abilities are, they continue going. She will have a machine pistol that doesn't do a lot of damage, but has a large magazine, in addition to her hack ability affecting other players, preventing them from using abilities, and health packs making them unusable for enemies. She can hack Torborn. Fuck, I can't say that name. I used to be able to. This doesn't take damage or take control of them, but it does shut them down for a while, making it easier to destroy. She also has a passive opportunist that allows her to see enemies who are below 50% health through walls while using her thermo-optic camo. She is completely invisible to enemies. There's no shimmer to give her away. I get excited when they're releasing new characters in Overwatch. It allows now for more people to play different characters and have different game styles and matches that can happen esports-wise or just playing online. I need to get back into Overwatch, but I feel like I've lost my chance of getting back into it. But, yeah. Moving on! So, if you're Hearthstone fans, the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan cards have been let out. Chris Pereira, GameStop writes, as expected, Blizzard revealed a new expansion for Hearthstone at... Did I say GameStop or GameSpot? I always accidentally screw them up. I just realized while I was reading. But it's GameSpot. Sorry. As expected, Blizzard revealed a new expansion for Hearthstone at BlizzCon called Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. This adds a ton of new cards, 132 in all. But there are some new twists. There are 3 factions of Gadgetzans, and each has its own version of certain cards with distinguishing traits. We haven't got to see all 13 cards just yet, but they released 30. I got to see some of them. It's kind of cool now. They have like a multi-class cards, like mentioned, that can discover new cards for the certain class you're in, so it fits. But yeah, I've been a fan of Hearthstone. I really enjoy that game. I again missed the boat. I need to keep playing it to feel like I'm still in the game, because it's been a while since I've played it. But I normally just when in doubt, watch YouTube videos of people playing it that are a lot better than me, because I realize now watching people that are a lot better than me makes me happier because they know what they're doing, instead of me like playing and try to copy what they're doing and then losing, and it just makes me frustrated. You know, you know. Finally, because there's a whole list, you can get the list at GameSpot. Oh my goodness. Diablo 3 adding a retro Diablo 1 style mode. Chris Pereira again writes over at GameSpot. To celebrate the Diablo series' 20-year anniversary, Blizzard plans to release a retro style mode for Diablo 3 themed around the first game in the series. As part of the upcoming anniversary patch called Darkening of Tristram, players will be able to dive into a 16-level dungeon in the Cathedral. You'll encounter the 4 main bosses from the original Diablo, including Diablo himself. While this is played inside of Diablo 3 using either existing or new characters, things will work a bit differently in order to make this feel like the original Diablo. Movement will be locked to 8 directions, and the game's music will play during gameplay. And a special filter is in place to make the graphics look pixelated and grainy. Unfortunately, no images or videos have been released or shared yet. I feel like that's actually kind of a cool idea, that they're releasing an old game sort of in the Diablo 3 engine, but with like trying to make it feel like the old game still.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to have a 20-year anniversary, this is kind of a great way to celebrate it.
This is the way to do it.
Especially whenever I hear about this game, I think of my brother-in-law, who is a lifelong fan of this game, plays Diablo 3.
Still?
Oh yeah, still plays, or whatever the latest, Diablo 3.
Yeah, Diablo 3, Reapers of Souls, the recent expansion.
So it makes me think about him. I'll have to get his input actually on this move. But I think, honestly, for me, one of the coolest things is the fact that they're actually going to make the graphics look older. I think that's kind of a cool touch to the thing.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's good touch. I feel like this is what you need to do when you're doing anniversary of like a series, not just like shit out basically, just a random thing, and like feel like didn't really pay much attention. It's like, oh shit, it's been 20 years. Let me just poop out something.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, here's a hat. It's your 20th anniversary hat. It's like, cool.
There was something recently where it felt like it was just like forced. I wanted to feel like it was like for the Mega Man. It was something with Mega Man. I feel like they forced something out that just wasn't that great, but I can't remember. But Gary, you've never played Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
right? You've never played?
Yeah.
Overwatch will be free to play November 18th to the 21st, according to Julia Alexander over at Polygon. Blizzard's popular team-based shooter Overwatch is going to be free to play on PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One during the weekend of November 18th to the 21st. During the free weekend, players will have access to all 22 heroes and 13 maps that are available to play, including quick play, custom games, and weekly brawl. For new players interested in picking up the game after the free weekend trial is over, any progress made during the 3-day period will carry over once purchased. Players will also... Go.
Sorry, I thought you were ending. I was going to say, the last time this happened, you told me it was going to be free, and I never capitalized on it. And I would love to say that I'm going to do it this time, but it's just me personally. I don't know if this game, it's something that I'll ever really get into. It's just something strange about it, and I know you're shaking your head.
You're missing out.
But it's just me.
He's fucking up, people.
I'm speaking for the people out there listen to our podcast that aren't Overwatch
fans. It's free. Just try it out. That's all you have to do. You just download it, try it.
I feel like there's always man. There's always so many games I want to play, and there's always so little time that I always want to play the games I have and enjoy, then try something new. You know what I mean? It's not that
no fucking clue.
Fine. Yeah, I'm sure you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Sorry. But yeah, anyway. it's next Friday to next Monday. So I feel like you can find some time during the weekend to play at least one match just once. Please.
I may.
Just for me, please. 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 And if he doesn't play, I will let all you guys know, so you can tweet him at RealScavenger18 and tell him that he fucked up, because he did. Moving on! 4 new PS4 peripherals announced. Joe Screbbles at IGN writes, following the formal reveals of both the PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro, Sony has announced 4 new peripherals to be sold separately. The new light bar on touchpad version of the DualShock 4 that accompanies both new editions of PS4 will be sold individually for $59 or 54, I think that's euros or pounds.
Waste of money. Sorry, keep going.
Oh God, what'd I do? What happened?
I know, I'll talk about that after you're done the next 3. Keep going.
I accidentally clicked the picture, so I got lost. A redesigned PlayStation camera has all the same internal features as the original PS4 version, but now comes in a cylinder shape and with an angle adjusting stand, presumably to allow for easier use for PlayStation VR. It's also $59. Cool. A new translucent vertical stand will allow mounting for both PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro and will cost $24. Woo! This is actually kind of a little bit cool. The Platinum wireless headset, including 7.1 virtual sound, surround sound, 3D audio for games that support it, noise canceling, hidden microphone, and a 3.5 millimeter audio cable for connecting to PSVR or mobile device. Unless it's, an iPhone 7. It will cost $159. What exactly is 3D audio? How is the audio 3D? Please explain this to me.
Surround sound? But
what were you saying, Gary? What were you complaining about like you normally do, you grumpy old man?
No, it's the controller. Like, okay, so you're going to release a new controller, but something that meaningless of a change? Like, the light bar is now in a different spot on the controller.
I feel like this is the purpose is that they can... I don't know if they have less light, so it'll increase the battery life. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can see that. That would be smart. That would be a step in the right direction. But I mean, if that's not the case, that would be rather meaningless. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one.
I just threw that in there because I thought maybe people would like to hear about that headset or the new controller. Kind of cool.
The headset is definitely nice.
It looks pretty sick. $159. A little expensive. But, quality, I guess. Moving on! Call of Duty Infinite Warfare first weekend player count is just 1/4 of Black Ops 3 PC Gamer at Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer writes. It hasn't been a particularly good start for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We learned yesterday, despite topping the sales chart in the UK, its actual sales are still down by nearly 50% compared to last year's Black Ops 3, which was itself down from Advanced Warfare in 2014. And as Game announced, it cites okay, well, how do you say this? It's GITHYP. What the hell is that? Githwp?
Wait. Hold on, I didn't even have this article up. I didn't think it was going to be this much of a problem. But let's take a look here.
Githwp.
Githwip? I mean, the way you're spelling it. GITHWIP? Yeah, Githwip?
Sure.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. Oh man, that was like a whole 30 seconds of me trying to pronounce this damn site. All right, as game analysis site GithWhip recently pointed out, the actual player numbers are way down too, by an even wider margin. Black Ops 3 made it as high as number 4 on the Steam charts last year, peaking at 63,681 concurrent players during its launch weekend. No mean feat, given that the top 2 positions are currently perennially occupied by Dota 2 and Counter-Strike Go. Infinite Warfare's peak concurrent user count, on the other hand, topped out at 15,280 over its launch weekend. It climbed only as high as number 27 on the Steam Top 100, and it currently sits in 35th place, well behind older military shooters Arma 3 and Rainbow Six Siege, and also much more niche fare, including Euro Truck Simulator 2 and newly released Transportation Tycoon sim Transport Fever. So, that's pretty interesting.
I was going to say, I don't know about you, but I personally think this franchise needs to take a slight break. Like, it needs to reevaluate itself. I don't know what their sales projections were, or what they are, or how they're really doing. They may think they're doing well, that maybe their sales are fine for what they, again, projected them to be. But I do think that this game, I think they need to reevaluate where they're going, like what they are, and I mean, your sales are down 50%, nearly 50% on, as opposed to Black Ops 3. You got to start to imagine that there's going to be,
I wonder if
maybe there's a problem here.
I wonder if this has to also deal with, I think this is the first game where it's just on the current gen now. No PS3 or 360. I could be wrong, but I think I'm not, because I'm right.
I'm sure that, and if that's true, I'm sure that definitely factors in. But if you're a strong game, if people like your game, I don't know if that's going to truly hurt you too much. Like, if you move to next gen consoles and you're releasing just for next gen, and people are truly excited about your game, I don't know if that truly hurts your sales. But
I'm just wondering if everything being around it now, like, really screwed it up. You have Battlefield 1, then you had Titanfall 2, then you had Civilization 6, then you had Skyrim Remastered.
I think Battlefield 1 and Titanfall definitely put a major dent in their sales, no doubt. I mean, the excitement surrounding Battlefield 1 and Titanfall were enormous.
Mm-hmm. More Battlefield 1, because Titanfall hasn't been selling too great comparatively, or what they expect from previous sales cycle from Titanfall 1. So, yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what they're going to go do from here. Like, where do they go? Do they go back to World War II? Do they finally take a break and, like, give people, like, time to breathe? Do they do, like, a new IP and call it something else but still a shooter? Sort of, like, slip it in there so it feels fresh? I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I mean, I think a break is needed. And then
but it is Activision, and they're still making money on this product.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if they sold, they keep selling less, but they're still selling, like, a large amount of units.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, as long as their sales keep meeting whatever their projections are, they're going to keep doing these games. But I mean, it's going to get to a point where they're going to have to, I think, reevaluate where they're going and what their games are going to be about, because they're just so stale now. I think the enthusiasm. I remember when Call of Duty would come out, like, back in the day, like Call of Duty 4 and then Modern Warfare 2. People were really excited about those games. I remember being extremely excited for Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Now I don't even care. It's not even on my radar anymore.
And I'm just curious.
I think that says something.
I'm also curious. I was wondering if the sales, the whole Call of Duty Modern Warfare COD 4 remastered, also boosted the sales numbers of this game. I wonder if that had an effect.
Absolutely.
Because if it was just Infinite Warfare, would it have sold as well? I don't know.
I think, Call of Duty 4, it had to boost their sales. I mean, everyone considers Call of Duty 4 probably one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it also had a great single player campaign.
Exactly. Yeah, that had, without a doubt, that definitely boosted their sales. But I don't know how much. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, Gary, you've played Civilization 5,
Of course.
right? Out of all the times you've played it, or Civilization 4, who's the most pain in the ass leader that that's just always trying to kill you, no matter what?
Well, I mean, God,
Don't
I don't
fuck
know.
this up. Don't fuck
well, I mean,
this up.
it is right on my Google Docs here.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
All right, I won't say the name that's on here.
No, you should. If that's
right.
that's who it is, then yeah, because that's
Well,
that's who it was for me.
All right, well, I guess it's Gandhi, but I will.
Oh, for sure.
I will say that
Gandhi's
I
a
feel like-
douche in Civ 5 for sure.
every leader, though, it doesn't even matter. I feel like every leader in that game is insane. They're completely irrational. That's one of the more frustrating things about that game. But if you want to go into the article here, you can please go ahead. I'll analyze afterwards.
Yeah, so if you guys are curious what getting Civ 6, according to Gita Jackson over at Kotaku, she writes, Gandhi is still an asshole in Civilization 6. And I honestly thought this was a very interesting article. It sounds like an opinion piece, but it's very interesting. So she writes, Gandhi's been a notorious asshole in Sid Meier's Civilization. First the result of a bug, and later because that bug was hilarious. Seeing the leader, a long-standing image of peace and pacifism, threaten players with nuclear weapons is a staple of the franchise. It's not surprising that Gandhi is still an asshole in Civilization 6, but he's a different kind of asshole this time around, just FYI. Civilization 6 introduced a new leader agendas mechanic, which are boilerplates for how AI leaders behave. Cleopatra, for instance, like other civilizations that have strong militaries and will try to ally with them. Queen Victoria favors civilization with cities on her continent and will try to expand to all continents available. Gandhi's historical leader agenda is called Peacekeeper, fitting with his role in actual world history. He will never declare wars in which he can be branded a warmonger, and he will befriend other peaceful nations and denounce violence ones. So far, he sounds like an alright guy. The problem is that AI leaders come with 2 leader agendas, and the second one is usually randomized. The second agenda is sometimes weighted towards a particular trait, increasing the chance of it rolling it. Teddy Roosevelt prefers environmentalist, which encourages his AI to build national parks, plant forests. Gandhi, on the other hand, tends to roll nuke happy. Seeing Gandhi with leader agendas of Peacekeeper and nuke happy is very common. In my playthrough, he even rolled nuke happy. The combination of Peacekeeper and nuke happy has led to some frustrating gameplay. Over on the Civ Fanatics forum, user The Crazy Cot has made a mod to remove this leader agenda preference, but playing the game as intended can be hilarious. Since the aggressive nature of Nukapi conflicts with the pacifist nature of Peacekeeper, Gandhi's not just an asshole, but a passive-aggressive, temperamental asshole. He will commend you for building nuclear weapons on one turn and then denounce you for using them in the next. Some players will even have him ask them to join joint wars only for Gandhi to later denounce them for starting the war.
Do you see? Are you seeing this guy? This guy, apathetic recluse, says, "I accepted his joint war against France, and then like 2 turns later, this fucking dick denounces me for being a warmonger. Thanks, fuckhead." It's so true, though. That's the one thing I had to say. Like, I always loved Civilization. I always loved the idea of building a nation from the ground up and expanding and doing all this different stuff, like, you know, discovering different continents, building cities on different continents. But the one thing that always drove me crazy was the AI in the game, because once you start getting involved with AI, you just never knew what was going to happen. And
No,
I almost never finished Civilization games. I've maybe finished like 10% of all Civilization games I ever started, because I'm always just so excited to build civilizations, not necessarily declare war. But it was always war. It would always end in a war somehow.
Yeah, I never knew how to win in Civilization 5. How to win besides war?
Yeah,
like I never knew how to win culture or science. However, Civilization Revolution 2 or Civilization Revolution for Xbox 360 got me into the Civ games. Now those games, they were easier and more understandable how to win those ways. However, Civ 5 is more complicated than Civ Revolution. Civilization Revolution.
Civ Revolution, though, I always felt like I mean, I enjoyed that
for
game
sure
for
a
what it
dumbed
was.
down version. For sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, a lot of people complain about AI in that game too for being absolutely insane. I mean, you get to a certain point, you get to a certain age in that game,
Everybody's fighting.
and yeah, it's just like I hate you for no reason. You've been an ally of mine for centuries, decades. No, it just doesn't matter. Nuclear war.
One thing I've been excited about hearing with Civ 6 is the way that you actually expand your city. So normally when you have like Civ 5, you have one like main city in the middle, and then it never like the streets or whatever never looks like it expands out. It looks like a tiny thing, and then just has a large like empty land that's just like farm.
Yeah.
But apparently in Civ 6 it starts building out, so your city looks larger and larger. So it expands the region, so it's not like just clustered in one area.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I desperately need a gaming computer. That is one thing I'll tell you right now.
That's the thing. If you start playing Civ 6, I will not hear from you for like 3 weeks.
Well, it's not even that though. Like, I love Civ 6. I also love all those types of games, like SimCity. I would buy SimCity. I mean, obviously the recent version of the game was rather disastrous, but there's other there's other city simulations, like builders like that I would love to play, but I can't because I don't have a damn.
You can get them relatively cheap on like Steam sales all the time.
Steam's amazing.
Yeah, but those are the type of games that, because sometimes you play games and you're like looking up at the clock, like you realize the time's going by. It's like, do I really want to be here all day playing this game? Civ, though, on the other hand, Civ is the game where you sit down and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then all of a sudden it's 8 o'clock at night, and you have no fucking idea how that happened.
And all the stuff you had planned that day, or it's just not done.
Yeah, you're like,
what's that work? School? No, I didn't do any of that shit. Like,
shit, how did that happen? It's insane. It's like really addicting, and the time flies with that game. But probably should move on. PlayStation Store celebrating a decade of downloads. Eric Lempel over at the PlayStation blog writes, "It's hard to believe this month marks 10 years since we launched PlayStation 3. Throughout the past decade, we were introduced to some of the most beloved characters in the PlayStation family, from Nathan Drake and Sackboy to Joe and Ellie. PS3 was a landmark console for a host of reasons, one of them being introduction to PlayStation Network, which is still garbage, and the PlayStation Store. So, to celebrate, we're excited to announce the 2-week PlayStation Store 10th Anniversary Sale, featuring some of the biggest hits from the past 10 years. We are also excited to share a new extended version of a short film promotion PlayStation Store, because that's a thing where we hidden Easter eggs, especially for PlayStation fans. Can you spot them all? I don't know. If you want to go spot them all. I'm not watching that. But yeah, there's a sale going on. I feel like I don't know, because I haven't been on Xbox in a while, but I feel like PlayStation still has been doing a good job doing these like flash sales or these sales lately, trying to get more into the Steam way of these selling these games.
I have to say, I actually really can't wrap my head around the fact that 10 years ago, PlayStation 3 was released. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to believe that. I bought my PlayStation 3 in 2009.
That was a long life cycle.
The
last generation. I feel like the recession did have something to do with it, just because there was no money to go around to develop a new console.
Yeah. Well, I imagine people weren't going to be buying as many.
Yeah, for sure.
I bought my PlayStation 3 in 2009 after defecting from the Xbox world. But I mean, it's just like time flies by. But some of these games look pretty cool, though. I mean, you got Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Obviously, that was the first one that kind of caught my eye because it's Vice City. Come on.
You get it for $9.89 with PS Plus.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Hotline Miami Cross Buy. You get it for $3.99. That's an amazing game. You should go get it. Everybody out there listening, I know Gary's not going to get it because fuck him, because he never gets those games. So
I'm a terrible person.
you guys go get it. It's amazing if you never played it.
Rocket League is also out there as well for anybody who hasn't played that game. Although I have.
Good for you. Rocket League is the bomb. Rocket League is the tits. Rocket League is the cat's pajamas. It's another game like Overwatch where it's just addicting because it just feels so good. It just feels so good.
All right. I say it's time we keep moving on out of this creepy noises here.
All right, moving on. Uncharted movie director teases casting, says filming could begin in the spring. Julia Alexandra of Polygon writes, when it comes to who will play Nathan Drake in the adaptation for Naughty Dog's Uncharted franchise, fans have had a few ideas over the years. Everyone from Nathan Fillion to popular video game voice actor Nolan North have been suggested. And in an interview with Collider, director Sean Levi, says he's heard what people had to say. Quote, it's every actor who's ruggedly handsome, which is to say every movie star, and who looks anything like the square-jawed, chiseled, featured Drake, end quote, Livy said. I'm not, quote, he continues, quote, I'm not actually going to base my casting on Twitter suggestions. Maybe I've even said the name in this room, who knows, end quote.
Yeah. I'm looking at actually some of the people that they're suggesting. And one of them is Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. And honestly...
No, say the name. You gotta say the name. Say the name.
Is it Nikolai Coster-Waldau?
Good job.
But anyway, no, if anybody was on a pick, I mean, from that list, I think it would be him. But the problem is, this is always the problem for me, with video game adaptations into movies. It's like you fail to capture what makes that game amazing. Great. You know, like... You play through that game with a character, you get to know those characters, but like it's hard to see it on the big screen.
It's like
it's
the world and like the immersiveness.
Yeah, exactly. And you take that and you put it into a movie. You don't always feel that same connection to the movie that you did the game.
Granted, Naughty Dog's like video games are always great stories, but do they translate into movies? Like video games have still struggled with that whole being like great storytelling, and Naughty Dog is at the peak of video games, but does that really mean that it'll be at the peak in the movies, or will it just be an average story that everybody's heard?
That's the thing. It's the thing that makes the Uncharted games amazing is the gameplay. You know, being able to jump all over the place and basically become your Superman. You're essentially Superman.
100%.
And it's like all that stuff that happens in between the cutscenes in Uncharted, that's going to have to be in the movie somehow. How are you going to do that? And it's hard. Like,
and how are you going to make it feel like suspenseful? Which is like when you play the game, that's the whole excitement of it. Is you're climbing up these big, gigantic set pieces, trying to get from place to place.
But it's Nathan Drake, and Nolan North is Nathan Drake. I couldn't imagine someone else playing the character. Like even, especially in real life, when you see a person being that guy, it's just. I mean, I love the game, and you know, I definitely hope that the movie turns out well, but it's just going to be. I think it's going to be very tough for hardcore, Uncharted fans to really appreciate the movie. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be tough.
Maybe it'll become an Indiana Jones type franchise.
That would be cool.
Just explode.
Nothing wrong with that.
Magically. I don't know. I don't know who I would pick out of that list. A lot of them don't see that great. I always love Chris Pratt, though, even though he's oversaturated now, but I love me some Chris Pratt. He's awesome. I loved him in Parks and Rec when he was like chubbier. He's hilarious. But moving on, Fallout 4 PS4 mod support is imminent. ONS good over at Polygon. Again, another Polygon writes. The patch bringing mod support at last to Fallout 4 on PlayStation 4 is finished and going through certification. Developer Bethesda Studio noted today. It's been a long and winding road towards mod support on PlayStation 4, which was originally promised late this summer, was repeatedly delayed, and looked dead altogether back in September. Bethesda reversed itself in early October, saying it had figured out how to deliver the mod support for the game a bit, with one huge restriction. Mod can't use any external assets. Mods are built with the Creation Kit, which is free to download. Mod support is also coming to the remastered Skyrim Special Edition. So finally, Fallout 4 is getting PS4 mod support, which it seems like it's just like Sony's been a pain in this.
Well, it's not only that, but the mods, it's just bare bones mods. It really is so disappointing.
Not enough space.
And back to it. I wish I had a computer because I've been reading up on the different mods for Skyrim on PS4 and Xbox and everything, but this is getting. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here because we're already kind of pushing the envelope here. But there's a mod, and what the hell is it called? Here, let me look it up. God damn it!
Well, this is awkward. We'll just sit here in silence while we wait, and I'm going to stare at you until you find it.
It's such a strange.
Don't say anything.
You're an idiot.
Don't say anything.
I didn't.
Quiet.
Is it
Quietness.
I hate my life. Anyway, it's a
Hello,
mod that
darkness,
uses.
my old friend. Sorry.
It's a mod that uses the Skyrim engine in the world, but it's a completely different game. Completely different.
In what?
And
in what?
yeah, it uses the Skyrim world, but it recreates the entire world with different characters, names, different characters, different stories. The whole thing is different. And it's been, I mean, people love this game. They go crazy about it. And I, for some reason, cannot remember the damn name of it. And I'm really looking like a dickhead right about now, but I'm
You always
sorry.
do. Let's be real.
Damn it. Reskin mod.
Actually, let's be real. I'm the one that normally looks like a dickhead. So, yeah.
This is a nice change of pace. I'm taking some of the heat off you.
Thanks.
I hate my life. All right, well, I don't know what the hell the name of the mod is. I'll post it on goddamn Twitter if I find it. So, yeah, move on if you wish. I'll find it.
Okay, well, you'll keep looking. We'll find it. We'll move on from here. The Division's next big expansion adds survival mechanics. Martin Robinson over at Eurogamer writes, Division next big expansion, which we already knew after its announcement at E3 would be called Survival, lives up to its name with the introduction of survival mechanics as part of an all-new game mode. Ubisoft announced further details on the paid expansion during a surprise live stream today, which was a while ago. Wait.
I got it.
Why is this coming out now, even though this was released I just realized this. For some reason, it states that it was published July 11th. But I'm pretty certain this article wasn't released then, because it was for a certain day. But I'll continue, because I feel like this was recent. Which revealed the expansion will drop 24 players into a snow-covered instance of the Division map, stripping them of high-level gear and tasking them to get to the center of the map. There, in the Dark Zone, they can find antiviral drugs that can cure their sickness, with players also having to manage hunger, thirst, and keeping on top of their illness as they build up tolerance to medication. Sounds fun? The mode will be available in both PvE and PvP flavors, and if you're downed in either mode without a teammate nearby to revive you, you could be kicked out of the session. A session looks to have an upper limit of 2 hours. At least that's how long you're expected to survive before your sickness kills you. The new survival mode is part of the sweeping changes Ubisoft has made to Division in recent weeks, and this new expansion, while not having a nailed-down date just yet, will come to Xbox One and PC first before heading to PS4. PC players can sign up and play the new beta. I just realized as I was reading through that since it's a Eurogamer, they may actually post it in the Euro date, so it's probably November 11th, 2016. I just realized that as reading through. I was like, shit, that's why. It's like, it's not... that was... oh, my goodness. But I feel like it's too little too late with the Division. It had its time. People were complaining about the gameplay of it moving forward. They finally patched it. I don't know if I'll go back into it to see what's new. I feel like they missed their mark.
Well, I've been playing Destiny now for a while, and I remember back when the Division was coming out.
Wait. You play Destiny?
You're hilarious. Yeah, I actually haven't been playing that much recently, but that's a different type of story. But I had friends that were like, or a lot of people were thinking that this was going to be the game that takes over Destiny and Destiny dies. Funny enough, the Division completely failed.
It sold pretty well, though.
It did sell well.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they make another one.
It's just the life of it wasn't as long, I think, as people thought it was going to be. But
I enjoyed playing the game, honestly, single player wise. I really enjoyed running around the city, because it felt like the type of city I wanted to run around in. I liked the mechanics of it, of the game, the third person shooter. But
see, for me personally, I thought the world never really appealed to me. I think that the post-apocalyptic, like the realistic post-apocalyptic type games are really starting to wear thin on me personally. But I also did hear people, especially my brother-in-law and my friend Ben, they were really disappointed with...
Friend of the podcast.
Yes. They were very disappointed with how, as a single players, there was just no way for them to really be able to level up, really be able to acquire gear that gets them...
Yeah, I feel like once you're at the end, you can't really do that single player-wise.
And that's it. And there was just so many people out there that would gang up. They would get 4 people together, and they would just run house on these,
Mm-hmm.
lone stragglers running around the city trying to,
Yeah.
improve themselves. So I think it was very frustrating for them.
Fair enough. I can
But
understand that.
not to get back to what we were just talking about, but the mod, in case anybody's interested in looking it up, it's
Oh,
called
we found it. He's not a dickhead anymore.
It's called Enderal, the Shards of Order, and I'll just give you a brief synopsis, if I may. It's a total conversion mod for Skyrim. It's a new game based on Skyrim's core architecture, gameplay, engine, and assets. It's been in the making for 4.5 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. It runs independently from Skyrim and provides a completely new game experience with a new land, with its own lore, which is amazing, and different biomes. So, yeah, completely new game. I heard it was amazing.
Is it just like the engine? It just uses Skyrim engine? Is that it?
Yeah, like if you look up pictures of it, it's using Skyrim's
What's it called
build.
again?
It's called Enderal, Enderal.
Found it.
But people were saying like the story of the game is a masterpiece. Like people were saying like it was legitimately tough to make decisions in the story. Like they were really torn on things. Very interesting. It's amazing what people, just regular people.
30,000 hours of work.
Yeah. It's amazing. Regular people just with...
People are creative.
Yeah.
Even when they enjoy something and they're not getting paid for it, and they just...
If I had the ability to do it, man, I would be all over that.
I think I can actually run Skyrim on my computer, but low settings, so maybe I can get this mod and just fucking, YOLO. See how it goes.
Yeah.
Because it's free,
man.
I'm assuming. No mods are really paid for, even though Bethesda was trying to do that, but I'll check it out. We'll move on! We're moving on. Sony exec states Hello Game is constantly updating No Man's Sky to bring it closer to original vision. Rob Thurberon over at TechSpot writes, No Man's Sky was always going to struggle under the weight of expectations. The hype surrounding it grew out of control as Hello Game founder Sean Murray. Blah, blah, blah. We already know. I'm going to get into the quote of the Sony exec Sean Layden regarding Hello Games. No one in development wants to say that they can't do a thing right. No one wants to tell someone, no, I can't do that for you. People really try. Looking at different industries, I've had the privilege of working in the game industry, is where everyone has the courage to say yes, they want to try. I don't know what I'm reading right now.
It was
a little
strange.
They want to try and realize their ambitions. They wanted to try and make their vision. Weird.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about how they want to bring it closer to the original game.
He says they're still working on it, they're still updating, they're still trying to get it closer to what their vision wanted. Perhaps over time it'll reveal itself to be all it can be. You just don't get all the way there at the first go. I feel like I was reading the wrong part. I mean, you don't get all there in the first... You have to in
well,
games.
See, this is the unfortunate... The unfortunate for reality right now for No Man's Sky is that their window is likely closed.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of keeping people interested in their game and getting people that were pissed off to come back, I think it's pretty much over. And honestly,
done.
even for me, I was contemplating just deleting the game off my hard drive because I don't want to go back now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. And even if they do bring back something of substance to the game that's supposed to improve the life of the game or improve like the gameplay, I don't want to go back anyway. Like that's the real shame of it.
They already lost their what's the right word? Their clout or their the fan base, their reputation with the fan base. Like no one's going to want to go back and try.
There's no trust now. There's no trust with with customers.
They never kept up with like talking to the fan base, saying like, "Hey, I know we promised this, but we're working on it right now." But they've never talked about it. They kept quiet. They kept promising a lot of things and have not delivered.
Yep.
And some of it's on Sony for keep promising things. Some of it's on Hello Games. We've gone through this whole rigmarole.
The hype train and their own hyping up of the game was just a deadly combination, and they're probably never going to recover from it.
Yeah. What can you say? No Man's Sky. Moving on.
Unfortunate.
Dishonored 2 has a 9GB day one patch on PS4 and Xbox One. Dishonored 2 requires a 9GB day one patch on PS4. The file size was first reported by... Oh, I keep just reading it like... This is Oscar Deus over at GameSpot, I don't want to plagiarize anything, writes, Dishonored 2 requires a 9GB day one patch on PS4. The file size was first reported by Reddit user LegalTRR, but GameSpot has independently confirmed that the PS4 version automatically triggers a 9.1GB patch. GameSpot can confirm that Xbox One version also prompts a 9GB patch. So, if you plan on getting Dishonored 2, which I know some people are excited for out there, just be wary. There's going to be a patch coming in the way.
Yeah. Make sure you wire your connection. Make it go faster.
Yeah, that's true. Moving on to it. I thought this was a nice story that I wanted to put in there for no particular reason other than, sometimes in what's going on, people need nice stories that happen in the world. Epic Games founder protects 7,000 acres of U.S. wilderness via $15 million donation. Tom Phillips over at Europe Gamer writes, Epic Games is best known for its Unreal and Gears series, but founder and CEO Tim Sweeney is also a conservationist in his spare time. Sorry, the font's really small, so I had to look real hard in there to see it. I don't know what I'm saying. In fact, Sweeney just paid a cool $15 million to protect 7,000 acres of wildland in his home state of North Carolina. The 46-year-old programmer and games industry veteran donated the money to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to permanently block any kind of development on the land. The area in question, Box Creek Wilderness, is a registered natural heritage area which had been threatened by an energy company wishing to build power lines through it. Sweeney has bought more than 40,000 acres within the state and donated other areas for conservation in the past. This is just the latest, although it's thought to be the largest to date. I just thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah, good news.
Good news.
Not to mention, it's a lot of money to
yeah.
donate as well.
A lot of money to throw around. $15 million. That's no joke. So, Gary, you have in here, you wanted to talk about the NES Classic Edition a review that happened. I'm just going to read the verdict just because we'll get the synopsis. Jose Otero did a review over at IGN. So I'll just give the verdict that he writes. Because I feel like it sums up basically everything. The selection of 30 beautiful, emulated, mostly classic games makes a strong case to own NES Classic as a way to easily revisit old favorites and introduce them to new generations. Nintendo made sure to pick the visual filters that made the most sense for its first dedicated classic video game machine. I just can't understand why somebody thought limiting us to a 2.5-foot controller cables was a good idea, because it really limits where and how you can enjoy these games.
Yeah, that's well, I will say this. Okay, so like I said, in the last episode, I've never owned a Nintendo console, so I very well may buy this, but the 2.5-foot controller was very bizarre. But I also heard that Nyko.
It's not long at all.
Yeah, it's a joke. But I did hear online, let me confirm this here, Nyko is creating or has created a wireless controller for this console.
Really?
So do not fret. Let me take a look here. Yeah, okay, so Nyko's already got a wireless controller for the NES Classic. Yeah. So it basically there's a USB port, you plug in the little thingamajig, and bang, you have yourself a wireless controller.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so for anyone that's been possibly disheartened by the news that there's a 2.5-foot controller, which is unbelievable, Nyko has a controller for it. So, yeah.
Does it state how much it's going to be?
Let me take a gander. You're putting me on the spot again, and I'm not liking this.
Sorry.
So it says it's available now for pre-order and will hit retail the same day as the NES Classic, which is November 11th, along with the Extend Link, a 6-foot extension cord for the system's wired controller. The peripherals will run $20 and $10 respectively, so very reasonable.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm going to be buying the NES Mini or NES Classic, I will be buying this wireless controller because,
sure.
I mean, for Christ's sake, I mean, it's 2016. I'm not that nostalgic. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't need. Well,
be like a little kid up close to the TV. That's what I was thinking. Is like, are they trying to play to that? I don't know. I don't need to be that close.
I care about my eyes now. Back then, I wouldn't have given a damn. But yeah, that's...
Oh, good call. I didn't even know there was a thing. You're so brilliant, Gary, sometimes.
Sometimes I have my moments.
Well, there's no more topics left. I'm sorry, guys. There's nothing left. There's probably going to be something released tomorrow when we are busy, and we can't get to it because, we had to record early thanks to Gary's shitty schedule sometimes. So
It's all my fault.
It's all Gary's fault. It's always Gary's fault. Fuck Gary. Fuck Gary. And his destiny-loving piece of shit. I don't know what I'm saying. Just throwing out curse words now. So, Gary, well, what's your plan for the rest of the week?
So tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah. I have my men's league game again, so I'll be
Woo!
obviously involved
7
in
goals, here we come.
so it's going to be hockey. Destiny right now, the Iron Banner's going on. That might actually bring me back to the game. I've been on a slight lull with regards to playing that game.
He needs his fix. If you can't hear it, I'm tapping my arm right now.
Anyway.
Getting the vein ready.
I will be playing Skyrim. Like I said, I'm going to be getting into the Dragonborn DLC again, so I'll probably be talking about that a little bit next week. But other than that, it's going to be pretty run-of-the-mill. I got some work going on, school, all that shit. So what are you up to? What will you be up to, actually?
What will I be up to? Probably more Titanfall. This weekend I kind of want, now that I see that wireless controller, I kind of want that NES Classic. 30 games
I
for
may be
$80 total.
sure.
Especially because the Wii U, if you buy these games on the Virtual Console, I think I said it on the Tuesday episode, it's like $5 a pop. So that's $150 total value, like in a $60 purchase. So
you get a cool little console too.
Yeah, it's like it has the right size, I believe. Like they could have made it smaller, but that doesn't. Then it becomes less of like a collector kind of looking item, where now it's like the proper size where you still understand what it looks like. It's just so cute looking. It's just so cute. I like the box too. I've always been fascinated with like console boxes for some reason. I always thought that, like they
agree.
always look sleek, like especially the one that PS4 came in. It was so sleek and cool. You're able to carry it. It's awesome.
I held on to it forever. I'm not sure I don't think I have it anymore, but I always end up keeping. Like I still have my headset box because it's so amazing looking. It's it's actually just like like an iPhone box where it's like airtight.
Yeah.
It's just like that. It has like a foam inside. It was one of the nicest boxes. I mean, this headset is.
People's fascinated with boxes is like insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this headset was probably, I don't know, 150 and up. But yeah, the box, like just the workmanship. Like, damn, dude. Like, I mean,
that's $10 right there.
Yeah, like I'll pay for the box.
I don't need the product. I just want the nice looking box so people think I got the product. Because I'm fancy. You already know. But anything left to say, Gary, for this week?
I'm out of gas. I'm on E.
I'm getting tired right now. I'm getting a little beat. But yeah, so thank you all for listening. We'll wrap it up here. Thank you all for listening. Remember, Two Jersey Kids is on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Very simple. You can catch these episodes every Tuesday and Friday on your iTunes feed, your Stitcher, your Google Play, or whatever podcast app you use. So Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday being the shorter one where we go over, break down the games coming out this week, give you a summary, give you our quote-unquote genius picks, and then Friday, like what's coming in your ears right now, we release an episode where we go over the news that is going on in the video game industry. So, again, thank you so much for listening. We've gotten more downloads for the month of November. It's pretty incredible. We're over 200. I think we're close to 231-ish, which is pretty awesome. I don't know if it's really translating to people subscribing, but please subscribe. That'd be great. If you're a new listener, we'd love subscribers. It helps out so much, especially if you rate us on iTunes. That'd be also really cool. Really cool. I'm trying to get that rating from my mother. I still have not gotten it yet. I'm still trying to get it from her. It's getting close. That's difficult. Fighting for a review from your mom, you're really struggling.
It's tough times. It's tough times in this podcast, guys.
Yeah. But thank you all for being here. Gary, any last words for the beautiful listeners out there?
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, our download numbers are exceeding everything we ever thought would ever happen. Just wanted to thank everybody for clicking on us, giving us a chance, and I thank the people that stick around even more. So we do it for you guys.
We love feedback. So if you ever want to tweet at us, please tweet us at 2JerseyKids. We'll respond. We love talking and interacting with you guys. It's awesome. It feels really cool, honestly. It feels awesome. We have friends. But just make Gary feel uncomfortable by staring at him silently. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Have a good weekend. Say bye, Gary.
Adios.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Gary and Adam have left the building.